Hello, and thanks for joining us here on the Unofficial Controller Podcast. And as you can tell, it's me, RGT, and I am joined by the very luscious looking, the very well holidayed young man himself, the Switch legend. It is Marathon Gaming, aka Scott. How you doing, my man?
Oh, you serenaded me there. I got very hot. If I had a collar on, I would be hot underneath it. That's for sure. I appreciate those wise words, and I'll take them to the grave. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said. Thank you.
Oh no, it's great to be back on here with you, mate. And yeah, you are looking absolutely delicious as always. Yeah, but how you keeping anyway? Doing well?
Yeah, very, very good. Yeah, it's been a long time since me and you have had a little chat, to be honest. So I think I'm looking forward to this, hopefully as much as our listeners are, to hear what we've got to talk about, what games we've been playing, what news stories we've got for this week. But yeah, in particular, when we do get onto the old games, I'm glad that you are here because quite excited to tell you what we've been up to.
Oh, I bet you've got a list, didn't you? I bet you played more than me. I've been doing
no,
more decorating and housework than I have gaming, I'm afraid to say. But that's good for a gaming podcast presenter. But there you go.
Well, ironically, I haven't got a lot, but I thought if it was someone to talk about this particular game with, you'd be the perfect candidate. So I'm sure between us, we'll have enough video games to speak about, I'm sure.
I am looking forward to this. Yeah, so won't we just jump straight in then and say, Scotty boy, what have you been playing?
So when I was last on with George, I was just saying I was just non-stop a bit of Mario Kart World, trying to get everything out of it. So I mean, do all the tournaments, like the normal cups and trophies through different CCs. So I did all those 50cc and then 100. I've sort of left the 150 for the minute. It does get a lot harder, and rightly so. And then I keep forgetting the name of it, the sort of knockouts, which I've been calling rally, I think, on the last show. So those, which is very, very difficult because sometimes that's been taking me a bit longer. I prefer that mode, but you'll be winning comfortably, and then I just can't, even if I've got two good weapons. Say I've got like a sounder, which will get rid of a blue shell, and then say I've got a shell or a banana to get rid of an attack from the back. I wouldn't need to get rid of those, right? Keep them. I can finish many laps and win, but I just get too excited. I see two boxes ahead of me, and I'll get rid of my items, even though they can't get better. So I sort of bite myself. So I was like fussed for ages, and then I got hit by like two things where I changed weapons on 400 meters from the finish. Next thing you know, I finished fourth, and I got whatever. I got eliminated or whatnot. So that's been real fun. So basically, last night I got to the point where I was like, right, it's all right for half an hour, but I need a game to get stuck into. So I was like, right, what can I play? I was like, should I go back, play some other Switch games? And I thought, do you know what? Let me try and go online, see what it's got to offer. So I went online, did the odd game. I am going to be playing this week. I've got a couple of friends playing over for a big Mario Kart World sort of night. Nice. So that'd be good anyway. So I thought, right, now's the time. I've had a bit of practice. Let's get stuck in with something else. On the last show, I said about a football game in the news, which was coming to Game Pass on day release, like day one release. Can't remember what it was called, but I really want to check that out. So I put my Xbox on, and it said, long story short, I've cancelled a subscription, and it's a bittersweet thing. I constantly, with PlayStation Plus Premium and Game Pass, I will realise that I've not been on them for months, and then sometimes I cancel it, I go save them a bit of money for a month or 2 months, and then I put them back on. And basically, before we went on holiday, I was like, I need to cancel it. I've not played them since Christmas or whatnot. I'm wasting money. And I looked and I thought, the Switch is going to come out in June, beginning of June, Switch 2. I'm not going to be playing Game Pass, so I set it to cancel, and I think it expired about a week or two ago. So I still had, game use to the end of May, etc. So I couldn't play that. So I thought, so I went upstairs into my games room because it's on a big telly. I was looking at all my retro games. And then I had to one side GTA 4 sticking out of the 360 collection. And I remember, obviously, you guys have been talking about it, and that was your game of the month. And I know you completed it, and you're probably soon going to announce the next game, but you're waiting for everyone to complete it. And I thought, do you know what? Better late than never, because I've realised, obviously, I had a PlayStation 1, so I remember GTA. I remember GTA 2, GTA London. I remember the top-down view. I remember GTA 3 coming out, but I don't really remember playing too much of it.
Hmm.
I remember playing a lot of Vice City and a lot of San Andreas. That was a time where I was playing a lot of computer games at college
Yeah.
or whatever it was, yeah. So I remember playing a lot of those. And obviously I remember GTA 5, the story. But GTA 4, I was like, I don't even know if I played it. So I got it out, I Googled, I was like, is this backwards compatible on the Xbox Series X? It says it was. So I put it in last night and I played about a few hours of it. And as soon as this podcast recording, not that I'm rushing it, I'm very excited to see my baby face RGT. But as soon as we're done having our little sexy chat, I will be jumping straight back on there because a bit like what George said and said previously, I'm a lot more engrossed in the story. I quite like it. I mean, they keep on going. I mean, quite early into the game at the moment, there's a lot of talk of Albanians. So I don't know. Are these guys Greek? Are they Italian?
I think,
I can't work out or Russian because there's some
yeah, it's
different
sort of
names
from,
and stuff.
yeah, I
It's
think
East,
Nico and Roman are from like a Baltic state out that way that
yes,
probably was previously under
yeah.
sort of
They might be
Soviet
clever
rule. But
by not saying, but
yeah,
you get some sort of
yeah,
when they're talking like geography and some of the names. I'm thinking,
yeah.
well, they've got to be from here or there, and it contradicts itself a little bit. But no, I've been really, really enjoying it how it starts. I would say, I mean, I'm sure I'm probably in a minority, but for anyone who hasn't played it, I find the police chases really a lot easier because it's the way you got the map with a circle. It's quite easy to
Mm.
get out of their view. Whereas on some of the other GTA's, like GTA 5, you can't really tell. I feel like with the
Yeah,
radar of
I think with GTA 4, it's tricky until you grasp how to drive the cars because they got that bit of realism to the
yeah,
cars.
yes, yeah,
You're hanging the arse end out quite a lot of corners.
yeah,
Once you nail that and you work out how each car go, you can soon get away from the police because let's be fair, they're not the brightest NPCs in the world. I mean, I've braked before and just seen two shoot straight past off the bridge.
yeah,
Carry on, where you go, So, but yeah, once you sort of nail it a bit, what some of the missions later on, when you have to escape and you ain't got a lot of life left, you've got to be on it a bit because
yeah.
one rogue police shot and that's game over. But
I quite like it.
majority
Yeah, I
majority
quite.
is they give you a good chance to get away.
Yeah, I feel like it's quite more. I don't know. I feel like it's more simple and pure. Like I like the Mac, but you're straight in Liberty City. I really like it. You've got a lot of There's a lot of police. I feel like there's police almost on
Yeah,
every corner. It seems like, but there's a few differences to some of the more modern Grand Theft Autos. Where I actually, yeah, I quite like it. A bit more raw and ready.
yeah, it's
And
got a
also, I'll
real.
tell you what's. Sorry, one thing before I forget, I'll tell you what else I find quite interesting. I don't know if you remember from the very original top-down GTAs, I'm
Mhm.
talking the 90s, there was a lot of, everyone would shout at you, there's a lot of swearing and stuff,
Yeah,
residents down the street, traffic, and then that sort of died on the later ones. But this one, like if you go towards Car Drive Bad, I quite like that. It's proper old school.
yeah,
Everyone's calling you every name under the sun, shouting at you,
yeah,
abusing you, and that got lost at some point. But no,
yeah.
I've been really enjoying it. Yeah, it's really, really good. So I'm really glad that you've mentioned it because that sort of filled a void for me. I'll talk a little bit at the end of the show when I say what I hope to play next. I have had another game arrive, but yeah, that's what I've been playing. I was enjoying Mario Kart. I mean, I spoke about it last week of how different it is, things they've introduced, such as rolling starts and things. But yeah, I thought I need to get stuck into a game, so I'm quite glad to find something that isn't Switch. And the
Mm.
reason for that is just because I'm skint. Obviously, I bought the Switch 2. I can't really afford any other games at the moment, so it's come at a good
Yeah,
time for me.
yeah.
So, yeah, so that's what I've been playing. But RGT, what the devil have you been playing, big boy?
Um, well, to be honest, since the completion of GTA 4, I've had a bit of a void really in my in my gaming world because I've just been, that game. I always think a good game is when you roll MN credits and you sit there and you just sort of
And it
go,
hits you.
oh, what a game,
Yeah,
and I sort of had that, and then you think whatever's next is gonna have to be
hit big
pretty
time.
darn good to keep with that. Um, and I forgot I had two games turn up, pre-orders, which I'd completely forgot I pre-ordered because I pre-ordered them ages ago. They turned up in the post, and I know I wasn't really playing much new gen at the moment, which I still aren't, to be honest. I mean, my PS5 and Series X are pretty much paperweights at the moment. But
Yeah,
this sat on my shelf, sealed, and I kept thinking maybe this could be something to play after GTA, and I'll show for the
Okay.
for the visual listeners.
Yeah, anyone on YouTube, you can. Oh, it's funny. I've screenshotted someone that showed that on my Facebook or YouTube or something come up,
Yeah,
and I really, really wanted to check that out, mate.
yeah. For the audio listeners, this is the Precinct for PS5. And I believe it's from the same guys that done American Fugitive, which I played 2019-ish, I suppose. 2019, I think I played. Really enjoyed American Fugitive. That had that early GTA sort of feel about it. Not quite full top down, but almost a top isometric look, and you're a thief and you had to hide from the police and rob houses and bits. And I do believe this is the same team as done the Precinct. So I know George has been excited for this. I will show you. Look, you look at one of the best steel books or steel tins that I have ever seen out of the slipcover.
Wow, and they're really popular at the moment. Everyone, all the gaming collectors seem to be on steel books in a minute, don't they, on YouTube?
If you like your synthwave or your 80s, I mean, what a cover that is. Superb.
Yeah, that is nice.
So
I'll tell you what, you've been quite clever there, because I was about to say to you, RGT, when you finish a game like GTA and it really hits you hard, and you're saying it's got to be something really good to follow it. To be honest with you, I was about to say you kind of can't replicate it. Because I remember when I finished Red Dead Redemption, I loved it so much, and then I went straight into Red Dead Redemption 2, which arguably should be the same or better, but it couldn't. It was too soon. I feel like you
need
kind
a break.
of have to. You've got to switch your genre, and you're very clever there, because you might not have switched the genre, but you've switched sides of the law.
Yeah.
So you kind of have. You've gone from being on one side of the law, but you're not the criminal anymore. You're looking for criminals. So it's clever.
So starting this game, first few hours of this game, really enjoying it. Without no spoilers, basic story is you're a young cop, joined the force. Your father was like what would you say, like the chief of police. He was murdered by gangs. You've now joined the police, and you're sort of working and closing these gangs down while doing your standard day job as well, patrolling areas, doing your bits and pieces. Same again, that's that almost isometric sort of top-down view. I will say, very, very pretty game. For that sort of angle, it does look very good. The sort of the puddles and the reflections, and what we all go on about with modern gaming. So it looks very good. You can upgrade. You can upgrade your vehicles. You can upgrade weapons. Excuse me. But what I've found, I paid about the first 4 or 5 hours. I would imagine about 4 or 5 hours. It starts to get a bit repetitive. In the sense.
Okay.
So, how can I explain it? So basically, what you'll do is, at the end of each day, you have to go back to your desk in the police station, in the precinct. You go in and you sign off for the day. Then it shows the precinct from the outside. It changes from day to night or night to day, and then you're back on your next shift. And you have to pick your next shift. So it'll say, for instance, 6 hours, 6-hour shift on foot patrol in this area of the map, or 12-hour shift in patrol car in this area of the map, or 8-hour shift in a helicopter patrol in this area of the map. So you have to go out and do that. And while you do that, you'll chip off enough. If you start arresting people who are within the gangs, you'll chip off enough to then have a go at that next level of their boss up, to then go and arrest them, which will be a big shootout. Yeah. But after a while, when you keep rinse and repeat, and you're nearly doing the same thing over and over again. So it's a bit, if you go on the car patrol, you'll drive round. There's some clever sides to it, because you can drive round in your car, keep an eye on the cars in front. Sometimes you'll see a car start swaying and you think, oh, do a license plate check, comes back clean. See him swerve again. Then you can do double tap on the L1 button and that'll go blip, blip. So you can just literally say, pull over, son. Now you can breathalyze them. You have to check their ID. You have to follow all the procedures, and you get graded an XP on what you do to arrest people or what you forget. So always check the ID first, breathalyze them, search them, and then if they got counterfeit money or they got what you call it, lot of legal goods or legal weapons. You can add the charge list up, and then you arrest them. You can either take them back to the station yourself or get a patrol car to pick them up. It's good, but after a while, you have to keep rinse and repeating these shifts to get enough to then get to the next boss. Which I reckon I'm probably 10 hours into the game, and and I'm already getting to the stage where I'm a bit. Here we go again. I go and patrol that area, drive round,
Yeah.
and the crimes are almost the same crimes. They just keep sort of rinse and repeating themselves over. But I think if you can get over that and a bit of the repetitiveness of it, I think there's a game in there you'd enjoy.
Yeah, I still like the sound of it. Do you know what I'm quite shocked about? You say it's a bit rinse and repeat. There must not be too much to it. Because I just looked RGT on how long to beat, and the main story is only 12 and a half hours. Completionist is 17.
Yeah.
So there
I've
must be only half a dozen levels or something.
Yeah, I've been going off and doing a lot more missions to upgrade before doing the story missions. So I've spent a lot more time doing bits like that.
Right.
But I reckon how long to beat can sometimes be a bit optimistic, but I reckon 15 hours and you're in and done sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it is different. It's almost arcadey driving, so it's not too precise. The gun battles are actually pretty good, considering the angle you're at, and you have to pop off these criminals. You can flick through your guns, and you can't just stand there and just shoot away because they'll just shoot you dead. You have to take cover. You have to pop out, wait till they pop up, take a couple of shots at them, get down again. So you have to be quite precise when you're doing your shooting battles. And sometimes, there is a bit of variety. So sometimes you'll stop someone, or their license plate is pinged, and then you'll search them, and then you'll realise that they've actually got a warrant for their arrest. As soon as they know you've done that, they quickly shuffle free and run off, and you have to chase after them, and you have to call for backup. So if you're in a car chase, you can call for backup. They'll put stinger strips out, so you can puncture their tyres. You can call more patrol cars. So there's a little bit right there, but
Yeah.
once you've done each, there only seems to be 3 or 4 sort of shifts. Once you've done each shift, it all then starts to get a bit repetitive. But like you say, 15 hours in, hopefully it won't be too much. But it's worth a play, definitely. I mean, I suppose American Fugitive was a bit like that, and I played that to the end and loved it. So I suppose it might be, like you say, because I've come off the back of GTA, and that is so open, that is so much variety to do. Maybe this feels a bit more narrow and a bit more, bottlenecked, but still good fun. I definitely, I think it was a cheap price. I mean, I got this limited edition one.
That's what I was going to ask you, RGT.
I don't think I paid much.
I'm on eBay and, looking at about £30 plus. However, I'm a bit confused. There's one on eBay with a steelbook for £9 to buy. I'm assuming it's steelbook only, but it doesn't say it isn't. Because the description says it's the game. Yeah, he's missed the trick there because that would be a dispute. I mean, I can't be bothered to have a dispute, to be honest. But where did you get your copy from?
I think I got mine from Amazon. I believe I pre-ordered it on Amazon, so I got there was Roadcraft I'd pre-ordered, but I haven't touched that yet. But
I might wait till you finish it, and I might see if you can lend it to me. And I'll borrow it and play it. That's cheaper.
Yeah,
it can be my blockbuster.
No, I'll send it to you and then have a play, mate, and see what you think.
We can do a game swap.
Yeah, good idea. But yeah, it's definitely worth a play. Whether you think 15 hours of a game that's a little bit bottlenecked is worth that money in today's market, probably is. I mean, with games going 70, 80 pound, $80, yeah, probably is. But yeah, I'm enjoying it, and I'll see it through. But it was on that sort of second or third playthrough, and I thought, I'm doing this shift again. Do you know what I mean? It got a bit, but it's good fun. I want to see what the end game is, and the helicopter's quite good. That's different. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
So it gets a bit like work at some point. Obviously, it's fun being a police officer, but then you're like, hold on a minute, I'm doing a police officer's shift here. This isn't as fun as I thought.
I tell you though, if you like 80s cheese, this is the ultimate cheesy game, because some of the lines of dialogue in this game are absolute cheese fest. They are brilliant. I mean, there's the lady who's the helicopter pilot, and she always says, let's fuel up the big bird and get it in the big black. So, in other words, just say, get in the helicopter. That's all them cheesy lines with the shades on, and these gangs aren't ruining this town, not on my watch. It's all that sort of stuff. So it's if you like cheesy 80s stuff, this is. And I sort of wonder with this, have they done that intentionally, or is this actually they've tried to be really cool and actually missed the mark a bit? It's
I
got to be
hope not.
cheesy. That's got to be
Yeah.
cheesy. But yeah, that's the Precinct. Been playing that. I started a new game on PS3, which I found. I think I found in a charity shop for 50p, which was
Ooh.
Singularity by
Oh
EA.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'd never played that. I've only played about the first hour so far. I tell you what, that's a good game so far. Very Bioshock so far with the you have to go to a sort of an unknown place. You have a helicopter crash, or it's a plane crash in Bioshock, and then you go down to a new world, and there's upgrades and bits. It's very Bioshock, but that's not a criticism. But Bioshock's a fantastic game. So far I've been playing that. Looks really good. Lovely graphics. Yeah, I'm
Another
quite
first-person shooter. So you've been really
yeah.
enjoying those. You're definitely over your fear, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. When I still when on the modern consoles, when I see it go really, really fast and people are playing Call of Duty, I do have to sort of give me head a wobble and have a look away for a
Yeah.
bit. But for anyone that doesn't know what Singularity is, it's basically the Soviets had found an element called 99, which they could use to great effect for war capacity, and then that had all gone wrong. They'd closed it. It was on this island they were doing it. They closed the island down. The American government had noticed that there was spikes of activity happening at this place, which you go with a crack team of like Navy SEALs to sort it out. You have a helicopter crash, you get on there, and that's all a bit time shifting, and you end up in a different time era, and you have to try and battle your way to get out, work your way around the island. Really good fun. For 50p, I'm over the moon with that. I mean, great game for 50p. So yeah, I can report back on that as I play more of it, because like I say, I'm only about an hour in, but yeah, really enjoying that so far.
It's quite a short game as well, RGT, that is.
Is
You
it
can
really?
wrap, yeah, it's under 10 hours. You should be able
Oh,
to
spot on. Yeah, perfect.
yeah, it's quite nice. I've got Singularity, and I was just thinking, why have I not played it? But I know now. I picked it up also very cheap. Must have slipped under the radar. I got decent reviews, 7 out of 10s, etc. But I think my copy is sealed, so I just don't think I ever wanted to open it. I remember finding it.
Ah,
I think I was at like you get like a bargain bucket, like
yeah,
three games for a fiver, and it was that was in there sealed. I remember picking it up, so that's
yeah.
why I haven't played it. But I recognise the cover a lot.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, like I say, I'm really enjoying that. And it's I'd never heard of, no vast array of games on 360 and PS3, but that's something that completely passed me by. I didn't know whether it's because I weren't into the FPS scene or anything. I don't know, but especially by EA, I thought I would have heard of it. But no, I'm glad I have now. But really good. And then been having a few more goes. Pinball FX, which is our challenge
Oh yes.
accepted. I'm love playing it. I mean, I downloaded because it's free. So I downloaded it on PS5, but then I downloaded it on the Switch too, because it's handy if you have a couple of goes on the board. If you go to bed and that, and take your Switch 2 to bed and play. I was quite pleased because I was on like 6 million, and I managed to get I think an 8 or 9 million, and I uploaded that on our challenge and said, oh yeah, I've managed to do this. Then someone knocks out a 28 million, and I think Ginge done a 29 million. He's 20 million ahead of me, and I'm way off this, and I won't get nowhere near it, but really enjoying playing it. Digital Mongrel, he does our challenge acceptance. That's a great one this month. For
Well,
those,
I enjoyed it, but I'm bottom. So
yeah,
if anyone does want to get involved, don't feel like you have to compete. You can just be like me and sit at the bottom, make
yeah.
everyone else
I
look
mean, to
pretty.
be fair, I'm sitting on your shoulders, so I shouldn't worry about that.
Oh, I didn't realise he was as
Yeah,
bad as I was.
yeah. But for those of you who don't know, Digital Mongrel, on our Discord, he has a little section called Challenge Acceptance. If you join, have a look in there, and he just does a pretty much like a high score challenge or time
Hmm.
based one each month. And this month is Pinball FX, like I said, free download, and it's on the Wild West board, which is a free board, and high score. You just have to play classic and normal high score, and it's great fun, brilliant fun. And that's what we like with a challenge accepted, when you can jump in, have 10-15 minutes of go on there, try and get a score and out. So he's done it perfectly this month. which he does most months, but it's just that lovely little edge of just scores and to see who can keep edging people out. I still think there's going to be someone crack the 30 million on this. I can see a big score coming on here, I think.
Yeah,
That won't be
Ginge
me.
won't let it. It needs someone to push it to the limits because otherwise, I'm sure Ginge will keep trying to up his score. I mean, we're by the time this show airs now, I think we'll be in the dying days. There'll be hours left on the clock. But if anyone does want to get involved and you want to know how, you've heard us talk about Discord each show. So if you want to join the Discord, the link to join it is in the show notes of the episode you're listening to. So any of the episodes, if you're listening on Spotify, even if you're a couple of weeks back, it doesn't matter what show you listen to, just click on the show notes for the episode of your choice that you're listening to right now. And then the link should be there. And then you can join the Discord and you'll find a little tab. Basically, everyone will say hello to you when you join anyway because it will alert us. So, yeah, come on in. Come on.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Ever wondered what a rhythm-based stealth game with dinosaurs might look like? Or a farming sim in space with zombies? Welcome to the Gaming Blender podcast. I'm Matt, and with my co-host Scott, we take a random game genre and random game mechanics, blend them all up, and pitch wild, totally hypothetical games you've never heard of, and maybe shouldn't. New episodes every other week. Hit play and unleash your inner game dev. No coding required. Search the Gaming Blender on your favorite podcast app now.
Yeah, it's definitely, more the merrier. And it's good fun in there. Like I say, we play our Gen 7 monthly game. Oh, that's not really much monthly when everyone's done. We do a Gen 7 game every now and then and, all jump on, see our experiences from the best that generation had to offer. And then also we've got our challenge accepted and just general chat. So, yeah, jump on, come say hi and, come and join in and have a bit of fun. And lastly, I started... It's a game I'm unsure of. I'd heard good things. I need to persist with it. On the Switch, I think it's a Switch exclusive. 1000X Reset, I believe it's called.
Oh, I know very little about that, I think.
I'd heard good things about this being a very unusual game. And then the Switch...
Is it Resist? 1000X Resist, is it that one?
There we go, Resist, that's it, not Reset, Resist, that's the one.
That got very, very good reviews.
Yeah. And then I saw the Switch Up guys chatting about it the other week again, and I thought, do you know what? That was on sale. I think I can't remember what I paid for it, £6-7. I'm going to jump in and have a look at this, and I've put about an hour and a half in. It's strange, to say the least.
Strange. You haven't sold it to me there.
It's very different. It's one of them where you're walking around. They haven't told you anything what's going on yet. You're obviously in this sort of ghostly parallel world where you're living through someone else's life and you're trying to work. So whether you have to keep playing through to I don't know, reset time or what, I'm not quite sure yet. It's very strange. It's quite dark. It's quite unusual, but that has got that sort of point where you're playing it thinking, what's going on? I need to know what's going on. Lovely animations, nice graphics. It's one of them where I think it's nice to play because they've, and I say this a lot, I know, but they've done something different, Yeah,
there's a lot of different views on there. It's not necessarily, with the cutscenes, it's not necessarily third person view. There's 2D side scroll. There's so many different views. The animation's really, really nice. A lot of effort has gone into that visually.
They knew what they wanted to show and they've done it. They knew what the graphic style they wanted. And it's there's something intriguing about it. I mean, I kept playing and playing. After a while, I thought, do you know what? I can't bother this. I don't know what's going on. I just completely vague. And then I thought, hang on, I do want to know what's going on. Let's keep playing. And it's very strange. I've never played anything like it before. But then I think you have to give a bit of a thumbs up to the devs for just doing something so different.
Yeah.
They had their vision and they've done it. And I want to carry on playing it. But it is different, but it's definitely worth a look. If you like them sort of weird games which you have to unravel the story as you go, rather than know why you're there, you have to find out why you're there. It's quite good. It's got that almost sort of synth wave, sort of futuristic sort of feel about it. That you're right in the future, looking back at us, and there's little hints that they're different, and it's good. Definitely have a Definitely.
Yeah, it's got some. If anyone's interested in that's listening, just wants a little bit more information. The developer is Sunset Visitor, publisher is Fellow Traveller, and there's a nice little brief description. So I'll just run through that now. So, 1000 Times Resist is a thrilling sci-fi adventure. The year is unknown, and a disease spread by an alien invasion keeps you underground. You are Watcher. You dutifully fulfill your purpose in serving the All Mother until the day you discover a shocking secret that changes everything. So even though that's quite descriptive, it's still incredibly vague. So there's definitely going to be some twists and turns.
Because you don't know.
No, it's got.
You don't know if you're human or not,
Steam.
or you don't know. But then there's certain things I thought you play as a female character, so I assumed that you were human. But then they didn't understand because you're sort of set in a world you sort of see through memories.
It's like the Matrix almost.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you're even a real. You might be a AI or something.
You see through All Mother's memories, but there's times where you're stuck because you'll go through her memory and you're stuck. So you can click time to back to your time to get through barriers, to then click back to her time. If you know what I mean. So you can change time as you. Yeah, it's very strange, but very. What can I say? Yeah, very forward thinking of the developers to just completely go down this whole different path of a game, to what your normal genre. I wouldn't even know what you'd class this as, to be honest. But it's very interesting and definitely worth a look. If you got a Switch, and I don't know if, as of recording, if it's still on sale, but I didn't pay too much for this. But yeah, definitely worth a look. But yes, that is pretty much all what I've been playing at the moment. I was hoping to have played a bit more, but I'm a bit busy at the moment with renovating and bits and pieces, so haven't played as much as I would have liked to. But then that's where the Switch comes in. Yeah, but yeah, so we'll crack on with the news. I think we've scoured the very darkest regions, not only the darkest, the very darkest regions of the internet, to bring you this week's news. First up, this is over on Pure Xbox. By Fraser Gilbert. Very interesting story. I wanted to talk about this one. I want to see your views on this one, Scott. Because at the moment, I find with Xbox, they'll release some brilliant games and have great news about them. They release a handheld. They've gone and also done a VR system now, haven't they? Or skinned a VR system, and then the next minute I saw bad news with layoffs and bits and pieces. It's really strange where Xbox are in the market, so I want to get your sort of opinion on this. The title goes as follows: imminent Xbox layoffs could include entire studios, warns industry veteran. Good luck to all involved. It's brutal. Back on Tuesday, it was reported that Microsoft could be making major layoffs through the Xbox division at some point next week, as soon as next week.
Wow.
An industry veteran, George Broussard, has now chimed in with what he knows about the situation. Broussard, who worked on the likes of Duke Nukem, Max Payne and Prey back in the day, took to Blue Sky a few hours ago to suggest that entire studios could be affected by the layoffs and potentially 1,000+ people could lose their jobs. Now, before we get too doom and gloom, it's worth taking everything here with a pinch of salt. Even Broussard admits in a follow-up post that the 10K figure for the Xbox unit was just based on going off what I'd remembered. Here's a look at the exchange where he mentioned this. The real figure appears to be more like 20K. It isn't that hard to figure out roughly how many people are under Xbox's umbrella. Are you undercounting it by half to make your made-up layoff numbers seem worse? This is strange. This is someone answering George Broussard. And he's, but no, I was just lazy in going off what I'd remembered and didn't care to research it deeply because I'm not a journalist. You're strange for assuming things. Basically, what George had said earlier was, news has reported imminent Xbox layoffs, but I'm hearing internal developer stuff where people at most studios are anxious and worried. Word that entire studios may be shuttered. Expectation is 1,000 to 2,000 people. Xbox unit has around 10,000 people in it, so 10 to 20%. Good luck to all involved. Brutal. Nevertheless, this industry veteran clearly has some connections considering all the great games he's been involved with over the years, and we're just hoping that the damage isn't as bad as he is suggesting. It wouldn't be the first time Xbox has closed its studios, with 4 being shut down back in May of 2024, and perhaps Microsoft feels a few more need to be removed from the portfolio as well. As soon as we hear anything more, we'll let you know. So thanks to Pure Xbox for that. I'm at the stage at the minute where you get these companies and they do make off-piece decisions at times. But at the moment, I feel with Microsoft and Xbox, you just don't know what they're going to do. 1 minute they're saying everything's an Xbox, then they're laying people off, then they're bringing out a handheld, then they're doing VR, then they're laying people off, then they're closing studios, then they're buying massive studios to only shut them again. And you're like, what's going on here, Scott, at Xbox? What do you think? Where are they heading? Because, I mean, did they even know?
I mean, does anyone know? I mean, I thought the same thing as you. I thought, going off previous shows that we've all had together, like even last year, when we was discussing Xbox, I remember with Seb on, Xbox being on everything, I thought we'd come to the conclusion that there probably wouldn't be another Xbox. And that seemed sort of made sense. Join forces, have it everywhere. It was a nice different angle. I thought, I can see that at some point. So I thought, there won't be another system. And then, a few weeks ago, we've been hit with, they've got a new handheld, which I did not see coming, to be honest with you. And now it sounds like there is definitely going to be another system as well. I just, to be honest with you, I really, really haven't got a clue. In terms of the layoffs, I'm not shocked, because it seems like every other week something terrible, unfortunately. And, I'm really sorry to say it. So if anyone is, in the gaming industry and developers, I'm sure it's a horrible and unsettling thing to hear. But to be honest with you, I imagine they're probably quite numb to it, because there's so many threats and things happening. I'm assuming he's just been very reactive. I should probably clarify, that's not our George from UCP. That is a different George.
Yep, definitely.
I'm assuming he's just being very reactive. It might just be saying the worst case scenario.
Good point.
And then there might be, say, just half of what he says becomes true. Say it's half the numbers. A little bit of it closed down. He might just be planting the seed, and then, not saying he look like a superhero, but he won't necessarily be the bad guy. If he says the worst case scenario, and then, they're able to salvage it or whatnot, I imagine he's planting a seed there. That's probably a bit drastic, but, you can't be shocked these days. But in terms of, Xbox's business plan for the next 5 years, I don't think it's like Nintendo's. I really don't think it's that structured, organised. I really don't know. Unlike Nintendo, we've got a few big people at the top. And I imagine it's quite a niche, all round the boardroom. There's probably only so many heads that get a say. But Xbox, I just feel like, I don't know. I don't really know who's running the show over there, to be honest with you. I don't know I feel like the business plan changes every other month. I really don't know what to make of where they're going to be. If I had investments and shares in Microsoft, I really wouldn't know if to leave them or move them. It's not a safe bet like Nintendo, which is a weird thing to say.
Yeah, to be honest, I think you're bang on. I mean, I think now a few years ago, disappointed with Games Pass numbers. I think they were disappointed with how Games Pass was going, and we've said before, overall idea is good. And we've said this many times, I know people are sick of hearing it, but if you're producing games at 200 million budgets, you need a hell of an increase in subs to cover that cost when you're putting that day and date for free on there. Not for free, but, So I think they're disappointed with Games Pass numbers. So whether they went all in on buying Activision and a few others to try and get them games onto Booster Games Pass, and that hasn't worked, I don't know. But it almost seems, like you say, with Nintendo, I don't think PlayStation's a good example at the moment, because they've made some silly decisions, but you seem to know what them decisions are. They wanted to go for live service games. They jumped in. They've messed up. Let's get back to them single player big story games again. But with Nintendo, they do their own thing, and they have a plan, and they stick to it. And you know what you're going to get. With Xbox at the moment, they're almost like they're reviewing the company on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
You know, they had this Rogue Ally skinned Xbox they're doing. Then they were having their own one. They've now scrapped that, as far as I know. Community corrections if they're still doing it. So they're just having the Rogue Ally one, which there's two versions, which one's 600 and one's 1,000, which is a lot of money, but hopefully that'll be powerful enough. But then the next minute they're then laying off so many staff, and you think, well, you're investing in one, you're clearing out on the other, but if you're making the hardware, surely you need the software to back it up. And if you're getting rid of developers and studios, you're then limiting your software. It's very unpredictable at the moment, and I think it's a shame. And I know a lot of companies have done this. I know a lot of the big three have done this at times, but I think it's a shame when they're buying studios, and then they got a great reputation, they've made some great games, and then they shut them down. And you just think, whether you've used it as an investment to filter some of those off into your own studios, those devs off, I don't know. But I'm just hoping that he isn't right with the numbers he was saying. Let's hope it's not as much as that. But I know Xbox have stopped selling consoles in the Middle East. They stopped a while ago, so you can't buy Xbox out there. And the rumours I've heard as well, they're going to be shutting a lot of their places down in Europe. So whether that's,
I thought Max Payne was a Rockstar game. Is it not a Rockstar game?
It was, yeah. I don't know if it was published or developed by them. But
okay.
I think it was developed by them, so he must have worked at Rockstar for a while. But...
Yeah. No one wants to see anyone get closed down, and
no,
obviously it's upsetting because you're kind of killing a legacy if buying these.
Definitely, and also it's a strange time when there's so much money. This is the most, gaming is the biggest entertainment industry in the world, bar none. It dwarfs everything. So there's so much money in the industry, yet we seem to have massive layoffs. Now, is it because we spiked over 2020 and we were overbuying games and now we're getting the fallout? Don't know. But yeah,
it's changed how maybe it could be other things, RGT, that obviously we're not too experienced in. People in the gaming industry, it might be, a bit like businesses change and you realise you don't need that many people to do things. I mean, look at Twitter with Elon Musk. For all we know, similar things happened. Like, say, let's take it black and white. Say a game would take 1,000 people to make. Now, with all the technology that's come on the last 10 years, maybe it only takes 500 to make the same game. Because of all the artificial assistance you get now. So it might just be that it's an excuse. I'm making a big accusation here. It could just be that it's an excuse to get people out of these contracts and then, start from scratch. They might be closing it, then reopening it with the same people, just taking 20% of the personnel out. It might just need different structure because, let's be honest, games are different now than they were 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Because we've come on leaps and bounds, haven't we? So
true.
I don't think we're ever going to know the truth. But yeah, our faults are definitely out with those who are affected because obviously everyone's got mortgages and bills to pay. So we wouldn't wish it on anyone.
No, it's it's a shame when it gets to that level, and they're probably all worried, or they might even heard by now. But yeah, we'll keep close eyes on this, and maybe bring it up in next week's news, and just see if we've heard any more, and what exactly is happening over there at Microsoft and Xbox. But yeah, we'll keep an eye out. So, what's the next bit of news then, young Scott?
Okay, it's a funny one actually, because I was speaking about a football game that I wanted to try, other than the old EA Sports or FIFA or whatever we're calling it now. So I wanted to play a bit of like an indie football game, and I've got an independent one here. So this is very retro theme, so it probably suits me. So this is an article from pushsquare.com. So there's a free footy game that brings back retro graphics for 30th anniversary event, and it looks very Polygon. It looks very N64
in definitely.
depth. So I'll read you the article. So while it was panned at launch, Konami's eFootball, so that is the name of the title, eFootball, has quietly carved out a niche for itself in its free-to-play football space and is updated constantly with new content and features. So I can see this looks like it's going to be on PS4 and PS5. So perhaps better known as Winning 11 or Pro Evolution Soccer, which everyone will be more familiar with. Mm-hmm. The long-running series actually got its start as Goalstorm on the PS1. I've not heard of that, which is an incredibly fun evolution of International Superstar Soccer on a SNES. Now, I have played that one.
Yep.
And with this game turning 30 this year, the publisher has some big announcements planned. It all gets started with an in-game event available now in eFootball until 10th of July, where you'll be able to take control of classic polygonal player models, which will take you all the way back to 1995. The Nostalgia campaign offers a packed lineup of limited time content that honours the franchise's roots while delivering new gameplay experiences for fans both old and new. So among those events, a new mode named Time Leak Trials, which will challenge you to score as many goals as you possibly can while the clock that sounds familiar to one of our old challenge accepted, where you're battering Ipswich. Counts down using the aforementioned character models. There are also player cards. So this looks a bit like the Ultimate Team that FIFA do. So Adriano, Roberto, Baggio, Gerard Piqué, each reflective of their respective PES eras. So is it a bit of a mixture of, was it called? It wasn't called eFootball back then, was it? Obviously.
Well, that's Pro Evolution, but it looks like it's very Pro Evolution sort of PS2.
So it's gone back to that route, yeah. So that's what I'm trying to get at. So it's gone.
Yeah.
A bit like what FIFA's done. It's dropped, it's dropped its name tag and it's sort of reinvented itself. I guess it's thinking it can't compete with it, but what it can bring is nostalgia, and they're playing on that. So the article I'm reading, it literally says epic nostalgia on there. They got the big heroes and stuff on there, I say heroes, the legends. So this will be followed by a special event live streaming in Tokyo where major announcements, including the new in-game licensing and details about ongoing 30th anniversary celebrations, will be revealed. Konami promised years ago that it would be adding a single-player Master League mode to eFootball. So hopefully it's finally time. But with the game so focused on its Dream Team style mode, we're not overly confident. Either way, do not miss the classic Pro Evolution soccer campaigns. While the career mode in EA Sports FC has improved, it's never scratched the same itch as Master League. And we'd love to see it make a comeback, especially as a franchise celebrates its 30th anniversary. Have you touched eFootball since its Undercooked launch? Oh, I definitely haven't. It's definitely Undercooked. I hadn't heard of it. Do you like the look of these retro character models? Blah-de-blah-de-blah. So, basically, I think, are they saying that, a bit like when we talk about wrestling games with the career mode not being there, are they saying in the modern leading football game, everyone's playing Ultimate Team and they want to get a good career mode back? Are they trying to play to that market?
I think what it was Pro Evolution Soccer really come into its own on the PS2 era. You started getting from Pro Evo 4, 5, 6 and the Master League, although very thinly licensed, if not licensed at all. So you did have to sit down and edit all your teams from Manchester Red to Man United. But it was Master League. I put thousands of hours in. I loved Master League. The problem was with what Konami, and I've said this before on the show, they had a massive miss because when the PS4 came out, and that was going to be Pro Evolution Soccer 14. I'd played everyone up to 13 then. I ditched FIFA back in 98. I went over to Pro Evo, played all the way up to 13. So I was ready for 14, got my new PS4 system, and they announced we're not releasing it on PS4. We're releasing it on PS3 and PS2. PS2 in 2014, which actually is the last PAL release for the system. So... And you just thought, so many players went over to FIFA 14 on the PS4, and they've stayed on FIFA, and because of that, they then launched Pro Evo 15, I think, on the PS4. 16 started to fade away. They didn't have the players, so they then changed it to this free-to-play eFootball, which when it first released, I played. And it was pretty shocking, to be fair. It was, and I don't play Ultimate Team. I like career mode. I like to build my team up, League 2, get a good budget, sell players, bring youth players through, make them superstars, get up the leagues, get in the Premier League, blah, 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 blah. So I think what they're trying here, to me, from the image we've got on our screens here, Scott, it looks like because everyone says that pre-Evo era was the best sort of career mode you could play. 4, 5, 6, 7. They were brilliant games. So they'd tried to hit on the nostalgia of the look of Pro Evo, but they've give you the card sort of system there of Ultimate Team. So for anyone our sort of age that loved Pro Evo as their favourite game, but now play Ultimate Team, you can mash them together. So you've got a bit of Master League, bit of Ultimate Team, bit of them retro graphics. I'm quite interested by this. I would re-download eFootball to play this, to have a go, I think. I know eFootball's improved a lot, but
it's not on Xbox, so you have to have a PlayStation by the looks of it. PS5 or PS4. So no Switch and no Xbox for this one, unfortunately.
That's strange, isn't it? But when you think when eFootball's a free game anyway, that's strange.
Yeah, let me just double check that. That's what it looked like from the advert that was on there.
Yeah, maybe, unless they just haven't announced it yet. But yeah, I think I love the idea of going back to the old pre-evolution soccer. I have played.
Well, you can play it on mobile, RGT. You can play it on mobile, so there we go. Anyone can play it.
Yeah, so I'm definitely interested in this. I think pop over to Push Square. This is an article by Sammy Barker. Jump on, have a read of this article. It's very good. If you like your retro football, I quite like to look at this. This could be good fun. I mean, especially if we can get a few of the football fans or Pro Evolution fans on the Discord to jump on one night and have a game. Could be a good bit of fun there. So watch your space on that. This is out. I don't know when it's coming out. 26th of June. No, so it might already be out as of reading this. So we'll have to keep a check. If anyone's played it, let us know. Jump in the Discord or give us a message over on X or Instagram or questions at unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com and let us know how it plays, what it's like, and is it worth definitely jumping on. Our final bit of news this week is over on Nintendo Life by Jim Norman. And this is Japanese charts. Mario Kart World speeds past 1 million physical sales. Another week of Switch 2 sales has come and gone, and Famitsu is here to give us the rundown on the physical figures from Japan. Unsurprisingly, Mario Kart World is still in pole position, shifting an additional 122,578 units in its third week and pushing its total sales past the 1 million mark. Elsewhere, Radio Remastered arrived with a splash, and the Switch, PS5 and Switch 2 and PS4 releases all nabbing a top 10 spot in their debut week. Both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom's Switch 2 editions continue to hang on in there, with Fantasy Life I and Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma still putting up strong with Switch performances against the big hitters. Here's a closer look at this week's top 10. So I will do this from 10 up to 1, so you know. So in 10th place, we've got Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo Switch 2 edition, which in the last week has sold 4,861 copies, 17,261 in total. In 9th place, we have Radio Remastered The Mystery of the Soulless Army, which is on PS4, which is 5,258, and that's just new, so that's just the current figures. Number 8, we have Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma for the Switch, 5,339 in the last week, 60,766 in total. Number 7, Mad. This is number 7, by the way. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Well, apparently, I was going to bring that up, RGT, because people have been saying, "Oh, Mario Kart 8's still good," and it's like people always say, "Oh, I don't need the new one." Blah blah. Apparently, obviously, everything looks so much better on the Switch 2. Even when you go onto like the eShop or your own ID tag, the graphics on your tag from the last one just goes to show you the detail on it. So apparently, when you put Mario Kart 8 Deluxe back in your Switch 2, it's even better looking. So, but how everyone hasn't already got a copy is mind blowing.
Well, this is even madder. So 7th, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Switch is sold 5,397 in the past week, and its total is 6,353,250. and it's still selling. It's still 7th in the charts. That is mental. And then we've got number 6. We've got Radio Remastered: The Mystery of the Soulless Army again on the Switch 2 port this time, 5,783, which is still, that's just new, so there's no top figure on that. Number 5 is there's Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild Nintendo Switch 2 edition, which is 5,887 in the past week, which is 17,825 in total. Number 4 is Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, which is the Switch port, 7,504, 130,625 in total. And we've got the top 3 now. Again, number 3 for the PS5, it's Radio Remastered: The Mystery of the Soulless Army, the PS5 port, which has sold 19,248 in the past week. Obviously, no top figure on that. It's just new. Number 2, again, Radio Remastered: The Mystery of the Soulless Army, the Switch port, 21,146. But number 1, as we already know, Mario Kart World Switch 2, 122,578 in the past week, which has dwarfed anything by 5 times or anyone else has sold in the last week. And that is 1,044,044 since its release 3 weeks ago. Onto the hardware now, and it has been another big one for the Switch 2, with an additional 140,026 units under its belt after surpassing the big 1 mil last week. Interestingly, the Switch Lite and OLED models followed behind in second and third, meaning that the Switch 1's combined sales, 12,769, are once again higher than the PS5's 6,006 across the console's respective SKUs after Sony took the lead last time. Here's your rundown of this week's hardware chart. So I'll do the same. I'll do it from this. That's got 11 on here, so I'll go from 11 back up. 11th is the PlayStation 4, which last week, as of recording this, sold 28 units, which takes its sales to 7,929,700, blah, blah, blah. Number 10 was Xbox Series X, which sold 37 in the past week. Number 9 is the Xbox Series X Digital Edition, which sold 47. Number 8 is the Xbox Series S, which sold 107. Number 7 is the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, which sold 749. Number 6 is the PlayStation 5 Pro, which sold 1,676. I'm surprised to see the Pro as high up it is for the value it is. So, or the price tag. Number 5 is the Switch at 2,442, so still in the top 5, the Switch original. Number 4 is PlayStation 5, 3,581. Number 3 is the Switch OLED at 5,110. Number 2 is the Switch Lite at 5,217. But number 1 is the Switch 2 at 140,026 sales. So, smashing everything else out of the water, and also 1, 2, 3 for Nintendo on sales at the moment. So the OLED and the Lite are still currently outselling the PS5 in that area on that week. So yeah,
there's your console race.
Yeah, so I mean, as you can see, 11th up to 1st in the consoles, you got PlayStation 4 at the bottom in 11th. I mean, that's pretty much dead and gone now. But then you got the Series X is 10th at only 37. The Series X, I mean, then you got Series X Digital, then you got the Xbox Series S, and then it is PlayStation, Nintendo, Nintendo. So, do them charts going back to the Xbox story? Do them charts show why they're laying people off? Don't know. As for games, I mean, does this show a bit of lack of games at the moment? I mean, I'll quickly run over it again. Number 10, you got Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2. Number 9, Radio Remastered for PS4. Number 8, Rune Factory for the Switch. Number 7, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Switch. Number 6, Radio Remastered again for the Switch 2 port. Number 5, Breath of the Wild Switch 2 port. Number 4, Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time for the Switch. Number 3, Radio Remastered PS5. Number 2, Radio Remastered for the Switch. And number 1, Mario Kart World for the Switch 2. Now, all these are pretty much, apart from the ports on other systems, that's nearly all Nintendo dominating game sales, which probably says what's actually coming out at the moment. The Radio Remastered, which surprised me, is number 6 is the Switch 2 port, but number 2 is the Switch port. So do you think people are buying, is it cheaper on the Switch to buy it, play it, and get it upgraded? So it's playing better on the Switch 2? I don't know. It seems strange to have that high, but maybe it's because a lot of people haven't got the Switch 2 yet. But yeah, Mario Kart World is completely dominating sales at the moment, and the Switch 2 seems to be dominating sales at the moment. I mean, is there anything there you could take away from that, Scott? Anything you find interesting?
Just the fact that Nintendo has achieved world domination. I think that's. I mean, every mother who does not know video games was, it's always that meme of everything's called a Nintendo.
Yeah.
And this is going to cement that for another 10 or 20 years, because we've had some systems from Nintendo, which it was in every household, such as Nintendo Wii and Wii Sports. And now, just when you thought Mario Kart couldn't get any more popular, everyone played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But unfortunately now, for the haters, baby, Mario Kart World, that is going to be in every house on the Switch 2. That is coming to every house near you very, very soon. I just think it just shows how well things have gone for Nintendo. So in comparison to the other platforms, with what the hell is going on?
And it's, I mean, Xbox is from the current sales. This is from the 16th to the 22nd of June, but just on them sales, it is poor. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, are they confusing people with all their different messages they're sending out? This is an Xbox, so you don't need to buy one, but buy an Xbox. And then they put prices up. Then you got handheld. Then you got VR. Then you don't need it because you can play on Amazon. You can play on your TV. But do you need a console? I don't know. It all
I'm starting to think, is it
message?
Yeah, I'm starting to think, this is a really weird opinion, right? And it's just my brain. I kind of feel like with the Game Pass, a bit like, I don't know if anyone else gets this problem, but back in, just to put it into simple terms, back when I was a young boy, channels 1 to 4, Channel 5 come along. The only chance you had to watch a film was on a Friday night on Channel 5. You come into school on a Monday, the whole school had seen the film. You talked about it regardless. Now, we're into an era now where there's so much choice. You spend more time looking at a game. You click on it, and if it doesn't grab you for a second, you go back out into another game. You spend about an hour just going in of games and out of games. I just feel like the Game Pass model, I don't know. It's just with the current generation, of people's attention and everyone that loves their TikTok and their shorts. I'm just wondering, is the Game Pass just not got their attention there's too much choice. I know it's a really weird thing to say, but the fact that
I call it, Scott? I call it Netflix syndrome.
Yeah, it's exactly that. The fact that it doesn't exist on Nintendo. So when you commit to a game, you buy it. I mean, we've all done it with sales. You might buy something for a couple of quid and give it a go. But when you've got every game, a large amount of games available to click in and out of with a monthly subscription, I don't know. Maybe they've realised that, because I did it the other day. Like I said, I've put on Grand Theft Auto 4 yesterday. I only got, half a dozen physical games. I didn't fancy playing them, but I couldn't be bothered to reunite my Xbox Game Pass. Every time I have it on, I don't end up really playing much. So
no, and this isn't, this isn't us just digging out Xbox. This is on PlayStation as well. PlayStation Premium, I have exactly the same issues with. And this is why I said this a few weeks ago, might have been a couple of months ago. Me and George were discussing this, and I still think Nintendo have got it bang on at the moment, because you pay your £35 or £40 a year, whatever the Nintendo Online is. You pay that a year, and what they add to you is them retro classics that you can play. You can have you can have your NES, you can have your SNES, you can have your Mega Drive, you can have your Game Boy Advance, you can have your Game Boy. If you've got your Switch 2 and you've got it, you've now got GameCube as well. So it's very affordable. It's very cheap. You've got a lot of retro games to play as well if you want. But if you want to play the mainline games, you pre-order and you play, or you buy digitally. But because you're invested in that game, you're more likely to either check reviews first before you buy it, or you're going to put the time in to play it. And I think it's always been a struggle to when they changed films to the streaming service. it's took a long time for people to adjust to that. And I don't know if this is the case now. I know Netflix didn't make profit for a lot of years because they're making a lot of films and a lot of documentaries and a lot of content that just wasn't getting the subscribers to cover it. Now, I don't know if you can put a gaming into that context, whether it's going to take time and we will be that way. Maybe we will in the future. Are we there yet? I don't think so. And I think you're right. I sit there on PlayStation Premium, and I've done this so many times on a Sunday afternoon. I just think, right, I've got a few hours. Let's pick a banger game to play. And I just sit scrolling.
Yep.
And after an hour, I just think, I don't know what to play, and I turn it off.
Yeah, you've seen too much, and you can't work out what you want to play.
And I know I've been concentrating on Gen 7 lately, and it is a breath of fresh air because I go to my game shelves, I look at my Xbox 360 collection, I look at my PS3 collection, have a word with Zangief. You know, we got a list together. Right, we've got these games to play, and you're excited, and you got the disc, and you pop it in the machine, and you play. And yes, I know the games are on the shelf, but it's something different to actually flicking through it on the screen. If you own the physical copy, it's a bit different to flicking through on the screens. And it might be me, you know. I'm a 47-year-old man, you know, so it might not appeal to me. The younger generation, the streaming and the digital, that might be up their street, but it just doesn't seem to be working yet. I'd be very interested to see where the numbers of Games Pass have gone, whether they've plateaued or dropped off. I think they've been dropping off, and that applies to premium as well, because both companies have snuck prices up. And I think the people are dropping away, you know. And
I wonder that. Yeah, I think it's an open.
It's even gone. No, I was just going to say, it even goes down to what me and George have said for years: curation. You go on there and they just chuck a lump at you, and you're like, well, hold on, you know. And they even to like PlayStation. I don't turn my PS5 on very often now, but when I do, and you go onto the store or you go onto Premium, they'll say, "Oh, we'll recommend these for you." And I'm thinking, I have no interest in any of them games. I don't know where you got that I thought you thought I'd like those games. And it's just curation. But I think now that Switch has changed the eShop, I think it is curated pretty well. I think it's, you know, especially for the online stores, it's the best out of them. And not only that, with Premium and Games Pass, you're hitting your own store sales. Because people aren't going to buy the games if they're on the... Do you know what I mean? You're almost fighting against yourself. Yeah. So, yeah, whether that's the reason where Xbox are, I don't know. As we can see from these sales, Nintendo are smashing at the moment. I think we all thought they would. I know there's some people that don't like the Switch too, and some people are a bit controversial about it. For me, all I wanted was... The main things was bigger screen, better Joy-Cons, 4K on the TV, 1080p handheld, if they can do it. What else was there I wanted? That was pretty much it, I think, which they've done all those, and then they've done a bit, you know, ease of life they've done as well. The stand's nice. You've got your top USB-C port, so you can play it standing down with charging, all little things like that. And I just think, well, that's what we all wanted. We all loved the Switch as it was. We just wanted all the little upgrades, and I think they've done it. Yeah. And I think that's why they're smashing it, to be fair.
And I think just two things about the Switch actually might be, because I only found one out today actually. Everyone says about like the prices and stuff, and you got to buy this, buy that. For example, like I haven't got a camera. I don't know if you've bought the camera RGT. You don't have to buy every accessory. However, if you do, I actually heard today from someone that you don't actually have to buy that camera. You can plug in any camera.
Oh, really?
You don't actually have to buy a Switch camera. So I heard someone today say that they've just put a different camera in and it worked. So I would say, in case he's lying to me, do your own research just in case people run out and go, hold on a minute. But yeah, that shocked me. So I think there are some things you can get away with. I know obviously the SD cards on the last system, you could buy any one. This one's changed, hasn't it? So I don't know if you have to buy Nintendo or whether you can buy a third party. But just say one. I
think you can, but you need to use an Express card,
Yeah, it's got to be Express. So there are ways of making it cheaper. And just so everybody knows we're not biased. What's going to be something? What was I going to say? That was it. I have got something negative to say about the Switch 2. The battery life. And I don't know if we brought it up previously.
To be fair, I haven't used enough handheld to judge on that.
Okay, because obviously I do listen to all the shows. Even when I'm not on, I always listen on my commutes and stuff, and when I'm out and about. But I have heard from different people that the Switch 2 battery, when playing it undocked, is very bad. So I heard it from a couple of friends, literally on release, and I thought surely not. That would get picked up in testing. I heard people say that it literally only lasts, a few hours. It won't last a flight. It won't last a long journey.
About 3 hours. I think.
And you know what? I don't know how it slipped through the net because it's right. Because I've played it undocked a couple of times, but I literally played it for a couple of hours the other night, and then I put it on standby. The next night, I went to plug it in, and the battery was so low, and that wouldn't used to happen with the old Switch. The old Switch, I could play 2 hours, 4 nights in a row, leave it on standby every night, and it would still be on half battery. Yeah. This is honestly, I think that's a big problem. To be honest, if it doesn't last a flight, then we're getting to the realm of when does a handheld not become? It's almost not efficient then as a handheld.
Yeah, I think the problem with that is we've got a lot more added power under the hood, and they needed to keep the ergonomics. They needed to keep that the same thickness as the old Switch for portability, and that really limits what batteries you can put in that.
I wonder if that will be the rather than like an OLED being the biggest feature in the next model or a light, like they normally do halfway through its life. I wonder if the next thing that would come in, I don't know if it would be an accessory, whether they just make a Switch with a better battery or a way of toning down the graphics or something. But you wouldn't want to compromise, would you?
No. Well, I think can you remember the original, the Mark 1 Switch, the OG that came out? I think after a few years they revised that and the battery life went a bit better. And then when the OLED, it got even better again, even though it was a better screen. So whether that's something they can revise as battery tech gets better. Yeah, you're correct. It is short battery life. But I suppose, like you say, that is that compromise. I think they had their plans in their head. They wanted to keep that the same thickness as a Switch.
Yeah, I just think it's unacceptable if it's under 5 hours, which it is. And I love the Switch. It doesn't affect me, right? Because at the moment, my commutes are an hour and I'm not travelling up north or around the country. I'm not getting on long flights. It's not affecting my lifestyle. However, and I play majority docked, probably play 70% docked, 30% undocked. However, there'll be people that play purely undocked. The people will just have Switch lights on the old generation. There'll be people that won't dock it. Now, if you're going on long journeys or say you're going on a 6-hour flight and it doesn't last a flight, people don't want to take their chargers with them. I know this is a travel charger adapter, but I'm really shocked that they haven't made it last at least 4 hours.
I think Nintendo, if you said that to Nintendo, they'd come back and say, well, hold on, right? We're a hybrid, so you can play it on the Italian charger. Secondly, although technically the Steam Deck is a hybrid, it was released as a handheld, and that's got even worse battery life, yet people still go and take that on long journeys. Okay. I think that's where they'll be looking. But I think you are correct, because I'm probably one of the rarities. I play my majority docked, my Switch 2. But I would imagine probably 70% of people probably play their Switch handheld. They still use it as that 3DS next handheld console. So for that front, I agree with you.
I might have to do a comparison video of a Switch 2 next to a Sega Game Gear with 6 AA batteries in.
That's great.
Or is it? I think it might be 8 AA batteries. And I'll leave them on. I'll do a time lapse video. I'll put it in times 6 speed, and we'll see how long they last.
Do it, yeah. Do one doing the Sonic the Hedgehog on the classics on the Nintendo Online, and then Sonic the Hedgehog original. Yeah, just let them run.
I might do that.
They're both LCD screens. One's slightly older than the other, but that'd be brilliant. But yeah, we'll call that there for the news. If there's anything that interests you or you want to give us your opinion, like I say, you can jump on a Discord, let us know on Instagram, DM us on Twitter or X, as the youth say nowadays, or like I said before, questions at unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. Let us know your views. I mean, are we completely wrong? Are you going to say, Scott, what you're on about? 3 hours is plenty to play through Breath of the Wild when you're on the go. Or, do you think Xbox is still going to come back? Do you think they're right for laying people off? And what do you think of this new football game? Let us all know. Send us your messages. And like I say, even just jump on Discord, start a chat on there, and we can all join in. Talking about Discord, I suppose we better go on to our loyal servants that we have on our subscribers list, haven't we, Scott?
Yeah, and we're definitely. I think we're servants to them. It's more the other way around.
Yeah,
We're forever grateful, and it's a really good bunch of people. So good friends, all of them. Really active Discord group. It's really fun to be a part of, and we thank each and every single
yeah,
one of these people every week. So anyone who does contribute to the show financially, whether it's top tier, middle tier, lower tier. There are different perks you get of each tier, and all that can be found within the show notes. But
yeah.
one of the main things of even the minimum donation is your names read at the end of every show, which is what we're going to jump straight into now.
Yes,
So, do you want me to kick off at the top?
you certainly can, young man.
So we have got Cnox. So thank you very much to Mr. Cnox.
Yeah, all the way from Sweden there. Fantastic. Thank you, my man. Next down, we have the One Man George fan club. It is Carlos, who's still been doing some of our shorts on YouTube, which have been absolutely fantastic and smashing it. So, yeah, well done, Carlos. They are brilliant. But, yeah, thanks for your support.
Speaking of Sweden, did you hear that the Swedish female team lost to under 15 men team? Did you hear about that in the news today?
No.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. Cnox, is that true? Let me know on Discord. Did the women's professional team lose to a boys team?
Yeah, let us know. Hit us up on that.
That is quite important. And thank you, Carlos. Also, thank you to so I got distracted there, my brain. Thank you to Firm Returns, an absolute legend. He's got all the data, all the information.
Not only that,
thank you for helping with the show.
He's a hell of a juggler as well, because he done a short with juggling, which was very impressive. So the man's got skills, not only mentally.
Was that the shirts off video I saw?
That was, yeah.
Oh, that was a good bod.
He's intelligent. He knows his stocks and shares. He's ripped and he can juggle. I mean, can you ask for a better man? I don't think you can. I think the bloke's nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
If we can request for him to be oiled up next time.
Yes, please. Next up, we have Trestles of New York. Thank you very much for your long-time support. Really appreciate that, Trestles. Thank you.
And thank you for supplying the best sandwiches.
Without doubt.
On all of Manhattan and New York mainland.
Definitely.
And a big thank you down in the old, where did the old Italians hang out in New York? It's more Jersey, isn't it? Jersey,
Yeah,
Staten
I think so.
Island.
Yeah.
So this next man, he's king of New Jersey, baby. It's Bada Binkster.
Oh, he is without doubt. Absolutely. Thank you, Bada Binkster. Then we have the gorgeous Tingle Tuner with his absolutely awesome Switch 3DS and DS collections. He's a curator of the fine wine of the RPG, is Tingle Tuner. Thank you again, my man.
Then this next chap, he doesn't just pick up penguins, he picks up some serious Sega Mega Drive pickups, and that is Digital Monkery. Thank you very much, the pickup champion.
Oh, yes, definitely. And I think he's just, as a recording, just done a new video on his YouTube channel. Go and check him out.
That's it. It literally popped up on my phone 5 minutes ago. So I thought I'll include that would pop in my brain. So yeah,
he's done a new pickups video. So yeah, I can't wait to watch that, because the guy's got a collection and a half, and that's great to see what he's getting each month. Next up, we have Game and Graham. Thank you, my man, down there near Southampton, I believe. So thank you again for your support. That's fantastic.
Lovely part of the world, Southampton. Lovely coast. A big thank you to Balder.
Yes, thank you, my man.
Balder, BB, baby.
And then we've got Going Bran. Boba. Thank you, my man. And yes, he's doing.
Who's it you sound like when you say that? Is he in cosplay right now?
I don't know if he's in it right now, but I mean, he's done his Scream one. He's got a new one coming, so I'm not going to say what it is yet. But from the sneak peeks I've seen, it looks very good. Yeah, so looking forward to seeing what he's come up with next.
Do you know who else is in cosplay?
Who's that?
It's George's red-headed stepson, right? Everyone says he's Hedge. Now, I think it's a muscle suit that he puts on. Yeah, that is a rumour going around. I mean, Ginge, let me know in Discord. Actually, no, he threw a platinum trophy through my window last week.
Yeah,
I don't want him coming. He knows where I live, so I better be careful.
Well, I know
he's not cosplaying. It's all real muscle.
Please
don't beat me up, Ginge. Please don't beat me up.
I can prove it isn't real muscle, because I once saw him. He got a full can, unopened can, a 10-inch super, and done it on his bicep like that. Crushed it, and that was full. That's how strong that lad is. Yeah. So that's not a muscle suit. Oh yeah, he's absolutely ripped. You won't argue with him. If we do have a live show, he's on the door. He's on the door.
No one's even trying to get in.
Yeah, if your name ain't down, Ginger's going to throw you across the road. Simple as that.
Apparently, his gym is not. He's got a little gym in his garage, right? And apparently, there's no dumbbells there. He just has big 30-inch CRT TVs
Yeah,
because he says a dumbbell's not heavy enough.
Yeah.
So he literally just curls them with each arm.
Yeah. Yeah. He was squat thrusting the Fiesta the other day. I mean, I never seen nothing like it. Absolutely ripped. We move on. We have the Lord of Darkness himself, the wonderful Harvey Retro. Thank you, my man.
And speaking of squat thrusts, we also have Emma Sharp. Thank you to Emma.
Thank you, Emma. Next up, we have it's Greg, and we know where he definitely isn't near because he isn't nowhere near Berlin. Thank you, Greg.
Yeah, we'll work out where you are, Greg. We worked out it's not Munich, it's not Frankfurt. I don't. My geography of Germany is very limited. Hamburg, that's another place. I think I only know 4 places in Germany. I'll get back to you next week for more information.
We'll find him.
Next up, we have got the woman who's always within arm's reach because she gives me a clip round the ear every time I play up and say something naughty.
Yeah.
And that is Mumsy. We love you, Mumsy, and I'm sorry for anything bad that I've ever done.
I get a clip ready every time I do a swars on the show. That's why I don't do many swars on the show. That's Jaded George that does swars on the show. So
yeah, I don't. I'm being very well behaved this week as well.
That's why George's ears are always red, because as soon as he drops a swars, bang, he gets a clip after the show. So, yeah, he needs to stop being a bit of a potty mouth. Oh, and I tell you what I get next. I get the RGT fan club. Thank you very much.
And then we've also got Pete Brocklehurst, absolute legend. Thank you very much, Pete. You are a superstar.
And he's hard as nails as well, so he can be on the door with Ginge. I'd be like Max and Paddy.
Just sounds hard, doesn't it, Brocklehurst? If I saw that on the back of a football shirt, I probably wouldn't go in for the challenge.
No, definitely not. I mean, if you did, you'd bounce off him, then 2 minutes later, he'd destroy you. So, yeah, you'd have to give Pete a wide berth, I think. Next up, we've got Love Him or Hate Him. It's Billy Marmite. Thanks, Bill.
Then we've got Big Daddy Simon Pryke, a.k.a. Simone Pryke.
Ooh, I like the Simone. Yes, giving him a bit of the old Continentals. Simone Pryke. And then, oh no, that's foul on me again, isn't it? Yeah. Oh no.
You love it, really. I can see you getting all excited now. You're foaming at the mouth.
So, yeah, that's probably because I haven't had enough water today. Yeah, I'm contractually obliged to do it this way. So if you are listening, I do apologise, but our very last one is Fast San.
Can I request no glasses next time? I want to look in your soul.
Honestly, I will look like a very aged rat if I take my glasses off. You want to look in my soul? Sorry, that just registered with me, that bit. I want to look in my soul. Classic. Yeah, all right, next week, glasses off.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thanks to all our subs there. Brilliant, guys. Thanks very much. If anyone is interested, like Scott said before, hit the show notes. There'll be a link in the bottom, and that will take you from there. But yes, thanks very much, everyone. Really appreciate that. And I think it probably leads us on to the final section, which is, what are you hoping to play?
So I'm definitely RGT, going to be playing GTA 4. So I'm going to play a lot of that. However, I have got a Switch game that arrived in the post today. And it's... I'll probably just do a little YouTube short on it. I'm not going to milk it for everything it's worth, but it is a very rare physical game for Nintendo Switch. It's from Super Rare Games, so it is a limited print.
You are a fan of the old Super Rare, aren't you?
I am. They're the better of a bad bunch, is how I describe it. I respect them.
I do hear a lot of good things about Super Rare.
Yeah, the others are really play on the collector's market, so they'll keep printing more, and I think it's really mean. They're both, I mean, I'm biased, this is British. The other two are American companies. And one of them, I can't remember if it's strictly limited or limited run. One of them's actually opened a shop. And I'm like, well, hold on a minute. It's supposed to be limited print.
Yeah,
and you can just
limited run, I've opened a shop, yeah.
Yeah, some of it I don't agree. And they do other batches and I'm just not sure of it. And Super Rare Games, I've only known one of their games to get a print by another publisher or developer, and normally they're very good at locking in, and that might not be their fault. That might be a contract issue because it was a game that came out a long time ago, and they've had a good 200 plus releases or 300.
That's a good track record.
Yeah, and with the other companies, they release a game every week. There's always something, and then they take your money. They don't send it. They take the orders a year in advance, and I just think it's too far in advance.
Yeah.
And they're obviously investing the money. It just seems a little bit. I have to think there's more to it. But with super rare games, you get the game, and before the next game's advertised, you have it within a month. But anyway, so this game I missed out on. So by the time I looked, some of the games sell out within hours. So it's called Franbo. I really think it's called Franbo or Franbao.
Don't know if I've heard of it.
Basically, yeah, it's like a horror sort of style game.
Okay.
The reason why I wanted it's a similar art style of a game called Sally Face, which I very much enjoyed. And I missed it when it first released, and I thought I'll get it when it gets traded in, and it just never happened. Price went up and up, and it hasn't come down. It's an expensive game. It's £110 at CEX. Yes, I paid it. I'll tell you why. Now, it's always out of stock, so I imagine the condition I don't know, I'll say condition, it's a cartridge and a plastic case. Maybe the manual's missing, maybe the cards are missing, but I'm not too bothered. Out of all of the big hitters, the games that are over £100 on the Switch, there's only about 10 max, and I've got all of them except for this one. So I really wanted it. I traded stuff in ages ago, and I had about £130 sitting in my wallet in a voucher for months, and I didn't know what to spend it on. I was going to get it on a Switch 2 Pro controller, and then I just noticed it come up as in stock, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to go for it. So I haven't even played it digitally, so I will play that after Grand Theft Auto 4. So those are probably the only two games. Yeah, if anyone has played Franbao, please let me know. And I know it's a lot of money. You're probably thinking, what an idiot. But I am a video game collector, and I do make silly decisions like that. But the credit I've got would be from flipping games from boot sales and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So I've probably spent £50 and then flipped it into 100 and something quid, let's be honest. So it's not that bad when you think about it.
I'm doing a similar thing myself at the moment. Since I've been setting up the new games room, I've been thinning out all the filler. I just want to have all killer, no filler. Get all the filler out, and then I've got 2 boxes ready to trade. And then the one thing for my Uncharted collection, I've got a display case now. I've got the Uncharted collection, my Last of Us collection in, but there's one thing I'm missing from that collection, and that's the Uncharted PS4. So I want to get an Uncharted PS4 with the trade-ins from all these games, and then that's what you do. You're putting it towards something else. So that's not so much.
That's it.
Just handing that cash straight over. You've done a few flips, a few trade-ins, built up that credit, and then that feels good when you get that game you've always wanted. It's a bit more pricey, a bit more rare, but good on you.
Yeah, I always say, for example, this week I'm going to be at London Gaming Market, and every time I go to a gaming market, if anyone's there, give us a shout. Every time I go to gaming market, right, I'm not looking for fodder. I'm looking for games you don't see. So, for example, last time I remember buying something like Haunting Grounds at a gaming market. I think it was like £80. It was like the only game I brought, and everyone's like, how can you spend 80 quid on an old game? And I was like, well, how many games you got in your hand? And they're like 10. I was like, well, how much are they? Oh, only a tenner each. And I was like, well, you spent £10, you spent £100 on 10 games, which you're probably going to play half an hour of each, and some of them probably be crap. I've just spent less than that on a game which I really, really want. So it just depends how you justify things, doesn't it, in your head?
Exactly. And I think as I've been a collector so many years now, I've gone down. I was talking to this with George off air the other day. I want it more curated. I want every game, when you look at my shelves, I want every game to either be a really good game, a game you've loved in the past, a game you want to play, or a banger. I don't want no fodder in there that you just think, well, Barbie's Horse Adventures, or do you know what I mean? Brain Training. I don't want any of them. I just want curated, nice big collection. Trade a lot of the filler out, get quality in,
Oh, you want all killer, like Mumsy Does Dallas. That's probably my favourite Blu-ray, which I've got. Speaking of, this will make you laugh. Speaking of filler, there is, at my local corner shop, as many corner shops where I am, but for some reason they've got a few sealed games. I don't know where they keep getting them from. I keep checking them to see. Yeah, even Resident Evil 6, they've got sealed. They have these sealed retro games. I don't know where they're getting them from. Anyway, I saw one, right, and I had to look it up. I thought, this has got to be expensive. I looked it up. It was only £1 from CEX. But I've got a picture on my phone, RGT. I'm going to read you what it was. It was a Nintendo DS game. And it was, I swear to God, it was Give Up Smoking. And that was the game. I'm not even lying. It was a sealed DS give up
No
smoking game. I
way.
thought that's got to be rare, but it turns out it's not. It is fodder. So there is some. Yeah, I've got it on my phone here. It's called My Health Coach: Stop Smoking with Alan Carr. Believe it or not.
Well, how random is that?
Look, that's a picture of a corner shop that sells sealed games near me. Couldn't make that up, could you?
No way.
I'll share that in a Discord for anyone who's interested.
Yeah,
And if
that's
you need
brilliant.
those games, let me know. But RGT,
Yes.
what are you hoping to play?
Pretty much bit of the others, like I said before, try and get the precinct, get that done in the bag, out the door. Singularity, definitely going to play more of that. Really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Bit more 1000X, just see how weird that is, but it's intriguing. I'm not sure, but it's intriguing. Try and get a few more scores before we finish the Pinball FX challenge. And I also, there was on sale the other day, there was a game I wanted. I downloaded it on my Switch, and that was Murder on the Orient Express, Agatha Christie. Because I love my Agatha Christie games. Me and Mrs. RGT can sit down, work out the puzzles, work out the murderer, love all that. So I was really excited for the Agatha Christie Murder on the Orient Express game. So that came up on sale the other day, and I think it was reduced from like £50 to £13, $15. So I had to download that. So that's sitting on there ready to play. Yeah. So I had to download that. So yeah, that's probably pretty much all I'm going to play. I mean, is there anything else you want to add to this week's show?
No, I've thoroughly enjoyed speaking to you. It's been a long time. I hope it's not the same length of time since we next speak.
No,
so thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure. Yeah, enjoyed this. Really good. Good to have a catch up. Thanks for everyone for listening. Always appreciate it. Love you all. Love doing the show and love to hear all your reviews and bits and pieces of it. And the ones I've been reading lately, everyone's really been enjoying the show. And like I said before, any questions, that's at questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. If you want to have some gaming chat, if you want to jump on and come and speak to us, that's on our Discord, which will be linked in the show notes down below. But just leaves me to say, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. See you later, Scott.
Bye-bye.